People don't stop to think that Gary was just 33 years old when he became the president CEO of the third largest credit union in the country. And the credit union was growing rapidly at the time. So he had his hands full in putting together a strategic plan to address all those issues.
Think differently. Don't let others define who you are or who credit unions are based on the textbook or what has always been. Be willing to look at new ways of doing things and new ways of making members experience that trust and value all the time.
We've had huge growth, but the growth hasn't been the driving force of what we've done. It's providing that benefit to the member, and when you provide it to the members you've got, it becomes appealing to members you don't yet have, and it attracts them.
Gary just took the best ideas from wherever he can find it, and he implemented it and made it really successful in his credit union. He got into a relationship with Safeway supermarkets up in Washington State. And he opened a cashless branch. At that time, that was kind of a unique idea. As a result of that venture, he was able to grow his credit union fairly rapidly, and it's been growing ever since.
He's collaborative, he's innovative, and I think probably most of all, he always puts people first. Gary is a credit union leader's leader, and that other credit union leaders look to Gary and saying that's really the ideal of what we want from our leadership in our industry.
There are a lot of people that are great leaders that take a different approach, but Gary was always thoughtful, quiet, but influential behind the scenes and not afraid to speak up when he thinks that we could maybe refocus our efforts or make sure we focus on the credit union difference.
Gary was a leader who constantly strived to ensure that cooperative value came through all the work that we did, all the work that we do day in and day out to ensure that the not-for-profit cooperative model stays true to its mission and continues to deliver real tangible value to its member.
We really met with the Trust for Credit Unions, the Callahan's group, which is one of the earliest and one of the best examples of collaboration in the credit union industry ever. And as an outgrowth of that, Gary and I and other people founded a couple of pretty successful CUSOs. And the interesting thing about Gary here is that he didn't need to do that. BECU was big enough on their own, but he believed in needing access for the industry.
Those of us that tried to emulate him came out pretty successful. It was a joy just to sit back and watch how he operated. I can't imagine the total number of small credit unions that have been helped by BECU as a result of Gary's leadership.
Express Opportunities is the partnership of a credit union, a low-income credit union, and 501c3, serving the community in the hardest to serve locations. A foundation called Medina Foundation and Gary Oakland BECU came together to resolve the problem of payday lenders and check cashers, and they were already teetering on the edge of poverty, and to this day his legacy still exists.
Gary was on the filing administrative board. He was the chairman, and I was moved on to the board. We had to make sure that they were becoming self-sustaining and came up with some solutions that we implemented, which I think set the tone for what filing has become today. Much of that can date back to Gary's leadership as the chairman of the filing board.
One of the major accomplishments I think Gary contributed has to do with the association of which he was involved for so many years, the NASCA's Credit Union Council. And he worked diligently in restructuring the council so that regulators would hear the voice of those that they regulate. This is something I think it's almost his legacy.
Gary's been on the executive board of Junior Achievement, where we really designed and developed the strategic plans to serve young people throughout the state. And during his tenure on our executive board, Junior Achievement has grown dramatically, serving now more than 105,000 students throughout the state.
BizKids was funded by a coalition of America's credit unions, working with the Washington Credit Union Foundation. And Gary came through for the project as a champion. We have reached about 55 million people with the show on public television, and 9 million young people in the classroom across the country. And we've profiled almost 400 young people that have started their own businesses or social ventures.
Gary is a special person. You want to be careful when you use the word authentic about a person, but he is an authentic person who lives the values of the cooperative model. And he built that into the way he thinks about and runs his credit unions.
Congratulations on this well-deserved honor, Gary. Your tireless service to the Tukwila community for more than 30 years is truly an inspiration to us all.
Gary, congratulations on your Lifetime Achievement Award.
Gary, I'd like to congratulate you on receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award.
I have been so fortunate to have met great friends, worked with great people, and they're the ones that have really inspired me.
Ladies and gentlemen, the National Credit Union Foundation is proud to honor Gary Oakland with the 2014 Herb Wegner Memorial Award for Lifetime Achievement.